Open the door!
Kick it in.
Ah! Lest we break it down and take more than those shells!
You bastards may take exactly what I give you!
The Return of the Obra Dinn is one of the more unique games I've played in some time, which comes as no surprise considering the developer, Lucas Pope, was the man behind Papers, Please. Another very explicitly designed title, and Return of the Obra Dinn may take things even further. And this is one of those games that by the time you watch this video, you'll know whether or not you'll have any interest in playing it. So, the story is that it is the year 1803, and a ship called the Obra Dinn has been found, but its crew and cargo are missing, or they've disappeared or died under mysterious circumstances. You play as a surveyor who has been called in to examine the ship and figure out just what the heck happened. And as you can see by the graphics, we're going for like late 80s PC, or this I think a Macintosh kind of aesthetic for the graphics. And it can be a little bit hard on the eyes, especially if you're playing this late at night or in the dark. But it has a very unique look to it, as you can see. So, the game itself, this is essentially a mystery game. Not a murder mystery, but just a general mystery title. There's no end-of-the-world situation, there's no grand monster or boss fights, or even puzzles for you to solve. Your only guide is going to be your surveyor's book that you're going to be using to fill out all manner of information. At the start, the book just simply comes with a manifest of who was on board as well as the cargo, with not much information left. Your mission is to piece everything together to figure out what happened to everyone, how did they die, and who or what killed them, along with when. And yes, I know that for some of you, I basically just described homework, while a few of you are probably very excited at that prospect. And like I just said a minute ago, Return of the Obra Dinn is perhaps the most, least puzzling, adventure game out there, as it's all about investigation and detective work. Now, unfortunately though, since everybody on board the ship is, dead already, you can't exactly get information figuring things out, and this is long before the era of CSI. Fortunately, you do have one special item at work, and that is apparently your magic compass. Don't know where it came from or how you got it, but this lovely little compass here allows you to rewind time to the moment of a skeleton's death. And that's where you get these little vignettes that you're seeing right here. And besides watching the vignette, you may hear important clues from the people, such as names, as well as what they were doing or what's going on. Now, once you're in a vignette, you're able to look at people and try to place them in relation to the picture in the book, and then by extension start to piece together who they were. Now, some of these people are easier than others. If somebody screams "Captain" at somebody, well, it's a pretty good indication that that person is the captain of the vessel. But it gets a lot harder as the game goes on. And unfortunately, you're going to be finding people like this guy here, but you'll have no idea who they are until much later in. But you can start putting things together as you start finding them. For instance, I may not know who that guy was, but I know he's probably being killed right now by a blunt force trauma to the head. But as you explore, your whole mission is basically examine a vignette. You'll then be able to gain some additional clues, as you see here. And this will start to fill out the Return of the Obra Dinn book, as you're about to see any second. As the book fills up, you'll be able to leave marks or start to figure out what actually happened. And when you perform things correctly, as in you make the right guesses and you use your evidence, the book will start to permanently fill in. Kind of your way of tracking progress. And in a sense, it's its own version of a trophy room achievement design. And I always love that element to it. But as you play through the game, you're kind of working your way backwards. Once you've examined all the skeletons or all the people in a vignette, you'll have to leave that vignette and something new will unlock. Either a door that was previously locked will become open to you, or you'll get an alert that there is another ghost for you to examine, or I'm sorry, another skeleton. And you always go through these little time doors to get back to the present. And like I said, this is very much a low energy game. You're not going to be jumping or running or anything like that. It's just simply observe and investigate. And for me, there's something very quaint about this game's design. But with that said, it's not an easy game, I think, for anyone who doesn't know what they're getting into. And I know Lucas has said this on Twitter and on various discussions as well, that he's not expecting the Return of the Obra Dinn to be a mass market success. But we're going to talk about that more next, as this friend over here is about to do something very nasty. And this is, for those of you watching this who are wondering if this game is suitable for young people or for kids, there is blood, as you can see, but it's all done in this low bit style. So you're not going to be seeing anything extremely explicit. But let's do a quick word to our Patreon supporters, and we'll talk about some of the, I guess, nitpicky or weird elements of Return of the Obra Dinn next. Thank you to our Patreon backers, and if you'd like to continue this discussion on game design, check out our Discord channel, linked down below. The Return of the Obra Dinn is a game that it's kind of hard to figure out who is the market for it. It's not quite puzzly for adventure game fans, and the story itself is so, I guess, passively told that it may not hook the hardcore narrative-driven people. But similar to his previous game, Papers, Please, this is a title that I'm thinking you will either love or you are going to hate. And as you can see from the screenshots here, the game follows a very explicit loop of how things go. Again, go to a vignette, look around, gather information, go to the next vignette, repeat, and start to piece things together. And this is a game that, even after like an hour or so of play, you may not be any closer to figuring out what's going on with it. And this is definitely a game for completionists as well. As I said in the last part, having the book itself represent almost like a trophy room achievement for you to fill up is a powerful motivator. I know it is for me and for other completists out there. But there really is nothing else like Return of the Obra Dinn. And if what you've seen and what I've described so far has you interested, then definitely pick this up. You are going to love it. But if you just spent the last almost 9 minutes watching this video and are wondering just what the heck I'm doing or why I'm playing this game, just don't even bother playing it, because it's not going to grow more than this. As I said, this is explicitly designed to be this exact experience, and Lucas knows this. And he's even said he's fine with people buying it, trying it for the 2-hour period, and then just refunding it if it's not their cup of tea. And I guess more power to the guy that he was able to make this game. And I would love to see other adventure or story-driven games kind of go this route, because this is still a set experience, but it's really about your own interpretation and figuring things out for yourself. Very similar to the game Her Story, or even something like The Infectious Madness of Dr. Decker. Now, I do have a few quick UI issues. I would have liked the ability to run in the game, as you're going to be doing a lot of moving around the Obra Dinn, especially if you're going to return to areas, or trying to look at other things in a vignette fast. Another general issue is that I didn't like how once I was done looking at a vignette or looked at all the major pieces, the game would automatically kick you out before you could actually start to make notes or record elements in your journal or in the Return of the Obra Dinn book itself. I would have preferred maybe a way just to exit the level or exit the vignette at my own time, and making it a lot quicker instead of having to run back or find that little time door that we keep seeing at the end of these sections. But again, this was just so explicitly designed, and I'm sure Lucas had a reason for these elements. But we're going to wrap things up here for this video. So, thank you so much for tuning in. If you'd like me to take a look at your game in the future, whether it is adventure-driven, story, or not, definitely get in touch. But check back for daily discussions on game design here, and on Game Wisdom, where we examine the art and science of games. Once again, this has been Return of the Obra Dinn, and I will see you all next time. If you're looking for another book about game design, be sure to check out my first title, 20 Essential Games to Study, out now. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed things, be sure to do all the liking and subscribing that the kids are doing these days. Check out our Discord channel linked down below where we hang out and chat game design, and come back later tonight for our regular streamings. But that's it, and tune in for more great content here and on Game Wisdom, where we examine the art and science of games.